following presentation is rated PG and may contain coarse language and mature themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, Creator, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for bringing us here for a special reason, and for the youth that are going to be dancing for all our Nogama who lost their lives on this beautiful river.
I was born on stolen land, but we still don't understand.
Growing up on Lennox, we had to cross the ice. It wasn't bravery that made us go across the ice, it was starvation, you know, because if we didn't get across the ice, then we didn't have food.
Everything and anything we get is not coming from the government. It's coming from our own struggles, our own demands, our own fights.
The sickness to this land tore your children from your hand, took their tongue and cut their hair, made them say a different prayer.
I grew up here my whole life, and I just recently started hearing about the stories about the ice walk, how my grandpa was one of the ones that lost their lives in the water.
And at least now I can talk about it and not break down or anything, and I know how to handle the situation.
When we do the 4 honor beats, we call in the Creator and all the spirits, the 4 directions, the 4 colors, the 4 sacred medicines, 4 seasons, all things that come in force.
We walk beneath the path of growth, and my bones will lay beside your bones. Shining water, standing high, stories told around your fire. Mighty river, mountain high, dance the moon into the sky, into the sky.
Truth and reconciliation really means that I'm going to tell you what happened to me, what you've done to me, you know, and I want you to respond like that.
We have to learn a lot of lessons from that. And we have to talk about it. History has a way of repeating itself. And if you learn about it, you won't repeat it.
The thing I find interesting is a lot of people didn't even realize that we, as a community, were so isolated. You know, no one had vehicles on Lennox Island, so if, you know, someone got you to the hospital, you were just left there. So your parents didn't come and visit you, or you know, you were just there.
Everything you needed was not on Lennox, right? Like, had to be gotten elsewhere.
Yeah, there's no store on Lennox, so we had to haul everything across the ice in the wintertime and then use a boat in the summertime. My dad fell through the ice one time, but got him out, got him to my grandmother's house, and got his clothes off and got him warmed up, and he was no worse for the wear. I remember as a child, I was at Tyne Valley Hospital, and I had just gotten my tonsils out, and there was a few of us from Lennox, few children. Yeah, it was very lonely, very scary.
From some of the stories you've shared, people weren't always nice to the Indigenous community.
No. Staff weren't nice to us. I remember that as a 6-year-old boy. You know, if we asked for something to help ease the pain, even like a popsicle, there was no such thing, and they made it known in a not very nice way that there was nothing.
As a mother and as a close friend of yours, imagining you as a 6-year-old boy broke my heart. And do you just wish that you could go back and, in time, and be there for you?
My dad was there waiting for us with a toboggan, and I remember it being very cold and windy, and my throat was just burning, sore. There's still that feeling of happiness, but also that fear of crossing the ice. I don't tell many people these stories, but I trust you, and you are a family, and we're a great team.
And that means everything to me. And yeah, I hold that information very sacred. It haunted me night and day. And I asked him to take me out there to see the ice because I wanted to feel, you know, the expanse of it and hear his stories. So we got deeper into his experiences, and watching him standing on the ice as a grown man and looking across, you know, he was transported back in time.
When the odd person says, well, why didn't you guys just get over it? Well, we were put on a little island, you know, and have to survive that way, and we showed that we are true survivors because we got through it.
I remember talking to you about it, and you said, there's something I need to face on that ice.
Well, I think it's just the memories that weren't good, to face them and put them in the past.
Now when we're safe.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it really triggered a need in me to do something. I felt and I saw what Senator Francis had been through, and I wanted to understand. I remember standing with you on the ice, and my instinct was to walk across it just so I could have more understanding, like even a glimpse of understanding of what that was like for you. And then I thought, well, I'm probably not the only person who feels this way. I'm sure if other people had the chance, they would want to know as well.
Yes.
And they did want to know. Everybody that we've told wanted to walk across the ice in solidarity. We have such an opportunity right now to listen and wake up. It's really hard with reconciliation. You know, how you can't repair this. You can't go back in time. All we can do is follow our hearts, consult the elders, ask them, does this feel like something that would be helpful? One of the people closest to my heart in the community was Alma, a very revered and respected elder. When we were in palliative care, I would go and visit, and whenever anyone would come in, she'd ask me to tell them about the ice walk. And one day I said, I really would love to consult with a circle of elders. And within 10 minutes, there were about 6 other elders in the room. They just kind of came and made the circle. And she looked at me mischievously and said, "You called?" I felt so honored to be trusted with that information. And everyone was very positive about the idea of the ice walk. So before Alma died, she made me promise to see this through. Every Mi'kmaq person that I asked about the ice walk had a story
Yes.
and a history with it, and they were sharing it very openly, and it seemed like the story was opened at a time when everyone was ready to share it. And Lennox Island took over this project so beautifully. So
Yes.
my work is now just to listen to the stories.
It's a good thing for the community because we're putting out our stories, right? We should be talking to the elders about their stories right now. And now a lot of them are ready to talk. Before they weren't so much ready, but now everybody wants to talk and tell stories because there's a lot to talk about.
I think it's important that people understand the true history and acknowledge it when it comes to these types of things so that we can all move forward together in a meaningful manner when it comes to reconciliation.
There's many communities in Canada right now, First Nation communities, who only have ice roads. They still are facing these struggles and challenges that we did many years ago. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to tell our story so that maybe it'll help another community.
There are still many communities that use ice roads in order to get supplies, and those roads are melting and people are still falling through to this day in Canada. Didn't someone just fall through who's related to, like, on Lennox?
It's actually our second camera's father.
Your father?
5 years ago.
So sorry. We're coming up on the anniversary of his passing?
It was.
On the 10th.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Wow. It's so important that you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So sorry.
Oh, thank you.
We're all in it together, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I did a day's work.
Oh, wow. It's just all so close to home. It's
Yeah,
just right
it
here,
is.
isn't it?
Yeah. These communities are so isolated, and as climate change continues, it's going to be very, very hard to, have access to these communities. Has to change.
It has to change.
We walk beneath the path of growth, and my bones will lay beside your bones. Shining water, standing pine, stories told around your fire. Mighty rain
transgressions.